you know, his team, they let the whole boxing world down. But I'll still be here, still be ready, still ready to kind of put on a show. And end of the year, well, look, let me get past Usyk first. With or without Usyk in my life, I'm going to fight Fury. Let's put it that way. You know, Usyk's not the end all and be all. Usyk doesn't determine that fight. That fight has to happen. It's a big fight, bigger than boxing, bigger than the belts. So yeah, it will happen.
So would you say then, from your perspective, you're 100% confident that in 2022 you'll fight Tyson Fury?
I can only speak for myself. If you're speaking about 258 management, the management guys, we do our part. I'm 100% confident I'll fight him and I'll win.
What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So we just heard there from Anthony, the landlord, Joshua. Now, listen, you man who follow the channel religiously will know that I've been expecting a bit more from AJ. I can't lie to you, man. Yeah, I preferred it when AJ was airing Theory out, and I know that people say, YB, well, not everyone's like you. Listen, it's about time everyone fell in line, just like the YB. Oh, YB, he's a millionaire. I don't care if he's a millionaire. The fact of the matter is, all this kind of neutralness, Fury needs to be aired out, all the way out. I wouldn't be, listen, this interview with Sky, yeah, oh, you know, Fury's team dropped the ball and all that, I'm not interested in it. This interview should have been, boom, Tyson Fury stood there and did nothing when his main man's was getting moshed, when Billy Ho Saunders' dad was. That's what I swear down. That's all I'll be talking about. Oh, AJ, when do you think the Fury fight gonna happen? Fury fight gonna happen? When do you think Fury gonna stick up for his OAP dons? Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. That's what I'll be doing. Everything, any question I hear about Fury, yeah, I'll be bringing light to the situation. That's it. I hate to break it to people, yeah. If you really want this fight, it's the only way it's going to happen. The only way it's going to happen, yeah, is if Fury is so embarrassed and so emasculated that he feels backed up into a corner. We've tried it this way before, and I thought, again, when AJ came out on Twitter and aired out the fact that Tyson Fury stood there and Tyson Fury froze and Tyson Fury didn't have any go in him, that was a start. But it's one thing doing it on Twitter where it's typing. Typing isn't really real. It's another thing doing it in interviews. That's a real character, if that makes sense. Doing it on typing's one thing, but you can have to, in my opinion, you're gonna have to translate it. If you want the fight, that is, or if you want to make, even then, Fury can still duck the fight. But what my point is, just too neutral, too PR. This was typical PR. Oh yeah, Fury's team dropped the ball, and there's got to be more to it than that. Fury don't care about that. Fury says, oh, well, Wilder, even Wilder as well. Wilder and Fury spinning the narrative. Wilder came out the other day and said, oh, yeah, Team AJ definitely knew and they was on board with it and whatever else. So they're not under no pressure unless you put them under pressure or you put him under pressure. We've already heard Fury, scarily enough again. Scarily enough, what do we know? YB told you, man, Fury and Wilder are going to be fighting 7 times. Oops. YB, we hate you talking about men getting bust in their face. Well, if you man started listening, you wouldn't end up on your knees on a Monday afternoon with a face full, no doubt. That's not my fault. I tried to tell you, how many months I've been telling you it's going to happen 7 times. Next thing you know, Fury comes out. Oh, again, I'm probably going to fight Wilder 7 times. Looking forward to it. And you man, oh YB, you haven't got no contacts. Oops. Oops. Anyway, my point is, Wilder and Fury fighting 7 times. So if you're planning on getting in the mix of that, trying to get in the middle of it, you're gonna have to kind of demand it. And it's all well and good. We heard AJ say that, oh, you know, I did my part. You've got to do more than that. It's not enough to sit there and be PR now. It's got to be pure smoke mode, in my opinion. No more PR, no more marketing, no more smiling when it comes to Fury. Because at the end of the day, yeah, I don't know, you know, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Maybe AJ's part of it himself. Because he doesn't seem, I don't know, he doesn't seem that, like, again, it might be just to do with his personality, but he seems happy in that sense. I'm pissed off. Yeah, I'm irritated. Then again, he's already a millionaire, and we've talked before about when you get to 50, 100 million, there isn't a lot to be upset about in it. So from AJ's point of view, I can get why he's not frustrated, because he's already made. So it doesn't, whether he fights Usyk for 35 million or Fury for 100, you know what I'm saying? It don't really make a scrap of difference to his actual day-to-day life. That said, if you're like certain fighters, Mike Tyson, for example, in his prime, you got the feeling that it wasn't all about the money kind of thing. He enjoyed watching a wig go back. He enjoyed sending someone's wig right off their barnet for them. So if I was AJ, yeah, of all the fighters out there, Fury would be one wig. I'd be really thirsty to push back. Yeah? It's a bit like the YB and Tyrone. The YB is rock hard to push Tyrone's wig right off his barnet for him. No doubt. You best believe that wig going back. Yeah? You ain't gonna. In fact, let me tell you right now. You ain't gonna hear no video, yeah, of the YB saying, "Oh, you know, Tyrone." You ain't gonna hear it. It's wig going back. It's simple. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them ones. So the more I think about it, with the YB and Tyrone, there's no way you'd ever hear me saying, "Oh, you know, well, no." It's straight. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them ones. I can't even in my own life, I can't understand why everything's so easygoing. Now again, people say, well, YB, it's his personality. I get that. But at some point, you've got to get over that part. Or you can just be that kind of guy who's just happy-go-lucky. Which is, to be fair, that may just be who he is, happy-go-lucky. And there isn't that switch. But then again, we've seen AJ before. I've seen AJ I've done a video on it myself. I've seen AJ in the press conference. In the face-to-face with Dillian White. And I guess Dillian White was kind of testing him. But even then, Fury's tested him equally as much. If anything, actually, Fury's been more disrespectful. And Fury hasn't even signed the contract, if that makes sense. Whatever we say about Dillian White, there weren't 2, 3, 4, 5 years of going back and forth with Dillian White. They were straight in there. So, again, I can't understand. Part of me starting to think maybe there is a bit of collusion going on here. Maybe Team AJ did know that. Maybe this is all part of. Maybe they're working together. I don't know. That's what Wilder said. Wilder said, yeah, they were working together. They all knew. I don't know. Could this be? Because, for example, is it? I'm sorry. The way that I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen or heard enough to be 100% convinced that Team AJ didn't have a part in this. If that makes sense. I haven't, for example, for AJ going back and forth for 6 months, he doesn't seem as pissed off as I would expect him to be. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And for example, we know today, the way business is today, these guys are not stupid. They know the Mayweather-Pacquiao situation. They know all these, they've seen all the numbers. Would it be... Can I put it past Team AJ to have sat down with Team Fury and said, you know what, we're going to drag this out for 2-3 years? I can't do that. And not when I'm getting this kind of vibe. It's just too happy-go-lucky for me. You should be, when Fury's name comes up, all you should be thinking about, it should infuriate you, should it not? This man's playing you around, he's been bashing your name for years, and you know what I'm saying? Whatever else. It just seems like it's not enough. It's too take it or leave it for me. When AJ talks about Fury. Again, initially, when he came out with a Twitter post, I thought, wow, we've made a step in the right direction here, in as much as that was new for AJ. And I was thinking, yeah, he's feeling how I'm feeling, just done with it all. But then we see today's video, and again, this is a leaked exclusive, no doubt. And it's all back to the whole, I can only control my actions, and well, what are we doing here then? Because we knew that months ago, that you could only control your actions. What's changed since then? I'll tell you what's changed. Fury's played around with you for 6 months. How can a man who's played around with you for 6 months get the same reaction as before? You should be just, you should be on it. You should be bang on it. For example, the interviewer makes a question about Fury. I'd prefer it if he even said, listen, I ain't talking about that muppet. He's a muppet. He don't want no smoke. He's shook. He knows the first thing it touches his flawed chin is going to go spark out, and that's why I don't want it. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Come with some lyrics. It's the whole bag of things you can... My point is, it's not even about what he said. I'm not saying, oh, YB, he's never going to follow your script. Oh, YB is never going to follow your perfect marketing script. Of course not, but it's how whatever he said is what I'm getting at. Whether he said loads or whether he said not a lot, I wanted to see more raw emotion. Now, I'm sure, again, there's people out there who will say, oh, well, YB, he can't... I'm sure his psychologists have trained him not to get emotionally caught up in things. Listen, I don't know about all that. Giving 2 minutes of emotion out or 1 minute of emotion out ain't going to hurt no one. And if anything, it's about time we saw a bit more emotion, I think. These fights, the way AJ's been fighting has been way too political. Way too many psychologist dons. That Pulev fight, you got too many cooks in the kitchen. You got too many psychologists trying to tame the beast. All this got way too many fruity dons in the camp right now. When you was on Twitter, yeah, and you was airing Fury out, you can't tell me that didn't feel good. So all we need to do now is take the truth. And he weren't even fuming. He was just putting truth out there. Put the truth out about Fury's... Like, there's another example. When the interviewer asks you about Fury. Oh, AJ, what do you think about... Do you think the Fury fight will happen? Say, listen. Do you think Fury will pay his charity bill? You know what I'm saying? Rather than ask me about the Fury fight, why don't you ask Fury if he's going to pay his $8 million charity bill that he said he was going to pay for his last purse? Innit? Start throwing it back. That would be my policy. If it was me, and if any time Fury comes up, he's going to regret me ever mentioning his name. It's going to be, he watched his OAP Don get moshed. Tom Saunders, he watched Billy Ho Saunders' dad get moshed. He ain't paid his charity bill that he said he was going to pay, and everything else in between. That's what it'll be from now on, from in my perspective. Every single time his name gets mentioned, he's going to be so sick of me mugging his name, he's going to have to step up. I'll be saying, listen, all you bare knuckle dons out there, your man don't want it. Yeah? He's shook, he's scary. He is the bare knuckle scary. Not warrior, he's the bare knuckle scary looking ass. And that'll be it for me. Again, oh, YB, well, AJ so much more of a man than you. Oh, if you want. I'm just telling you what the fans want, because no fans, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm sure there's a whole bag of goofy AJ super fans who say, oh, YB, no, what AJ said here was perfect. Because trust me, there's a whole bag of goofy dons who are like that. They just want to suck everything off. Everything he says is perfectly perfect. I'm telling you, it's not. The real boxing fans, yeah, they don't want no more PC when it comes to Fury. Fury and Wilder have taken too much of a piss. For example, yeah, yes, you know me, I'll always be critical of things. I'd prefer AJ to be fully gully 24/7. However, I'm not gonna nitpick. For example, people like, I don't know, Dillian White, Pulev, or whoever else. My point is, people who have got the deal done quickly, yeah. Yes, I'd like AJ to be smoky, but I understand people are different, and if he wants to be respectful, yeah, to people who have treated him with respect, I get that. Does that make sense? So, for example, again, Pulev or whatever, all them goofy fights, yeah, which got done in due course, and it was just normal business. If AJ wants to be respectful, I get it. But Wilder and Fury, we're 2-3 years past that point now. Do you understand? This wasn't the fight's got done and YB's asking for him. Why is that not in you? You should be sick of talking about these bums right now, after all the time that's gone by. And what makes me laugh the most is the fact that whenever AJ's name comes up to Fury or to Wilder, they do him that way. Does that make sense? You never hear Wilder say anything good about AJ. Oh, yeah, he avoided me for 3 years. That's what you hear from him. But yet, when AJ asks about Wilder, he'll say, oh, yeah, I'd love to fight him in the future. And do you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't get this whole... It's just too polite. Just doing way too much politeness, in my opinion. It's about time, when it comes to these goofies, if you really want the fight, we've tried the whole PC part. Eddie Hearn allegedly did it for 6 months, trying to lick Bob Arum off and lick Fish Eyes off, Finding Nemo. We've tried that already. In my opinion now, try it the other way. pure smoke. In my opinion, AJ, should have nothing good to say about Fury or Wilder until they step up. And I'd say, listen, when they sign the contract, we can then talk about whatever else. Until then, they're going to be, you know what I'm saying? They're going to regret any interviewer. You're going to have MTK. You're going to have El Trapahan ringing up all the newspapers and telling them, listen, next time we speak to AJ, don't mention Tyson Fury's name, because we can't take no more of the heat. Every time we bring his name up, AJ's just getting off all over him. Yeah? And Fury's sick of getting a whole load in his face off AJ every time he's mentioned. So please, Sky News, don't be bringing up Fury to AJ no more. Because Fury can't take no more loads to the face. That's how you should have Team Fury moving right now. They should be, you know what I'm saying? The El Trapahan should be putting out cease and desist orders to the media. No more Fury questions to AJ because we can't take it. Too much pressure. Fury's breaking at the seams. He can't take the pressure. AJ's got his foot on his neck. Just like YB's got his foot on Tyrone's neck. One of them ones. That's how they should be moving right now. Not, listen, I'm telling you this for free, yeah? I spoke to people in Fury's camp. They watched this interview, yeah? And they told me, YB, Fury's, after watching this clip, yeah, Fury had a big sigh of relief. Why? Because he thought for a minute it was about to go left, in as much as Fury for a long while. Let's not forget this. There's a reason Fury disappeared from Instagram. You man have got a short memory. There's a reason Fury disappeared from Instagram. Why was that? Sorry, disappeared from social media. Oh, well, YB, he was preparing for his fight camp. Yeah, he was doing that. He don't go nowhere for his fight camp. He disappeared conveniently after AJ was airing him out on social media, and he looked silly, so he disappeared. That's where he went. So, again, Fury, for the last 5 weeks, Fury's had high anxiety. He's been nervous 24/7. He's been walking around nervous, thinking about the next time AJ was going to put some more pressure on his neck. And then 2-2s, this interview comes out, and Fury's like, finally, AJ's gone back to moist mode. He's gone back to Mr. PC, Mr. Politician. Fury loves politician AJ, because that don't pressure him. You've just taken your foot right off his neck. And then 2-2s, what do we know? Fury comes out, oh yeah, Wilder will knock AJ out in 1 round. Guess what? Fury weren't saying that 5 weeks ago. In fact, Fury couldn't even reply to AJ. He disappeared. Do you understand? He weren't talking about Wilder will knock AJ out in 1 round. He didn't want to be nowhere near his Twitter when he was getting aired out. And now look what's happened. You've took your foot off his neck and he's jumping all over the place, gassing the place up again because he knows the coast is clear. He knows your PR team's been in and said, "Oh AJ, we think it's better that you just suck everyone off." I don't care what no one says, yeah. That's what you're doing right now. By the way these men have treated you, yeah, for 3 years, for you to just act like nothing's happened and I can only control my actions, and ain't no one trying to hear that. The least of all your fans ain't. Well, apart from the few goofy ones, but any of your real fans ain't trying to hear about I can only control my own actions. No one got no time for that. We knew that anyway, innit? Don't say things everyone knows anyway. What your fans want to hear is, we want you to be as pissed off as we are. If to be honest, you should be leading the way. You should be leading your troops to the battle. I can't get behind that. How can we get behind? His team haven't done. Yeah. That was wet. Come on, man. That was wet. I don't care what no one says. That was wet. Yeah, it was wet. I understand that you've got a whole bag of wet man in your team, but what you need to do is scroll down to the description, find the YB's Twitter, DM him and say, listen, you're YB. You got lyrics. My team's wet. Yeah? What you need to do is I'll put you on retainer. Anytime you want to put a statement out about Fury or Wilder, I'm going to be, you know what I'm saying? You can cook me up some lyrics. That's what you got to do. Reach out. I'll give you good rates as well. I'll give you friend rates. Yeah? Because clearly your whole team's wet. That's what we do know. There's not one man who's shooting straight. Bag of wet man. Yeah? Or bag of side man. That's what it is. And it's not your fault. It's your team's fault. Because they've got you moving wet right now. All this PC talk ain't doing nothing for no one. Ain't no one trying to hear it. And it's about time as well for your brand in terms of money-wise. That will help you transcend as well, I believe, into a bigger name, commercially speaking. People love the money so much, but really they've missed a trick here, because the whole politician thing, yeah, you make a bit more on the advertisements and what, but really the pay-per-views is where the big money is. Look at Mayweather, for example. Mayweather never made no money on advertisements, but it's not, and that's the point. Advertisements are great, but the bulk of the money, if you can have a big mouth like McTapper, another great example. Look at McTapper. McTapper was able to create an $80 million business selling whiskey, all from a big mouth. That's what a big mouth can do. A big mouth is worth a lot more than any advertisement's going to do for you, in my opinion. A big mouth done in the right way. And to be honest, if you're tactical about it, you can have both. But all I know is, yeah, this whole politician thing, man, it's just played out for me right now. Politician was cool when everyone was new and whatnot. Politician was fine, but now politician is played out, and no one trying to hear no more politician.